I know that this is gonna make me cry watching Buffy and Giles. Also, I need my Buffy fans. I need my Buffy fans in here. I need them. Where are ya? I need you. I'm here. Okay, present. Okay, let's talk about Anthony Head, who also, if you're a Ted Lasso watcher, he's in Ted Lasso. But for the rest of us, for the Buffy fans, Anthony Head is Giles.
But now, the show's taken over. It must be a fairly heady experience.
English actor Anthony Head, best known for his roles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Ted Lasso, dead after an illness.
Okay, so I have to explain why Giles was such an important character. And I think, namely, it has to do with the fact that Rupert Giles was one of the best representations of truly positive masculinity that I remember seeing in my formative years when I started to dive into shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And he was everyone's dad. He really was. He was not just a father figure for Buffy. He was a father figure for a lot of people who were watching, and just such an incredible role model. And it's remarkable because Joss Whedon is a piece of shit. And yet Joss Whedon managed to write a character. He managed to create a character who is really the opposite of who Joss Whedon is. Giles is everything that Joss Whedon could never and would never be. So there's something amazing about the fact that one of the best representations of positive masculinity, of like father figures, of male role models on screen, is a character created by Joss Whedon. But yes, I do want to credit the Buffy staff writers for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, Joss Whedon was Xander. If we're gonna pull one of the main male cast members, Joss Whedon was Xander. So he played the role of Rupert Giles on the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Giles was Buffy's mentor, father figure, protector, but not in like a toxic way. And ultimately, he was always there. He believing in her, knowing that even when she stumbled, that he was there to catch her and helping her to fulfill her potential. And the other thing too is that he was not a creep. And I know that sounds like awful to go, it was amazing because there was no rapey vibes. But unfortunately, the reality is, for a lot of media, when you have an older man and then a young, beautiful girl, there's definitely rapey vibes. There's definitely like a, And so the bar being in hell, yes, but also Giles was never, it was never that. You never had to worry that that he was getting pervy, that like, they're going to end up making this a sex thing. That he didn't objectify her. He did not, he treated her like an adult, but also remembered that she was a child, that with all the responsibility that was on her shoulders, and the weight of being the Slayer and having to save the world when she was just a teenage girl. So when I say he treated her like an adult, it's that he didn't infantilize her. He respected her, but he understood too how much responsibility that was for a high school girl. Buffy was so,
72 years old.
It was so good.
Anthony's adult daughters, Emily and Daisy, sharing the news via a statement to the Press Association on Friday. They say he died peacefully of complications
Protected her while
due to
making sure
pneumonia,
she maintained her
surrounded by his
agency.
family. The women add, "It has been and forever."
And you know what? Giles was sexy. Giles had he was strong without being performatively strong. He was sexy without being without them like making him actually a creep, right? To be like, "Ooh, he's a creep, but he's sexy." He was silent and strong and brilliant and sensitive and was the adult in the room and was aware of his position as the adult with this group of kids, but also knowing that Buffy was the true leader.
It will be an honor and a privilege to be his daughters and to have witnessed firsthand the impact both he and his work have had on so many. How lucky we are to know we are able to watch him doing what he
was
loved,
funny.
even when he is no longer
He was
with
so
us.
funny.
Rupert, what are you doing here?
We came to celebrate.
Anthony most recently starred in Ted Lasso as Rebecca's scheming ex-husband, Rupert Mannion.
Guess I'm just like any man. Just get bored with the same old, same old.
E.T.
Which is so funny when he plays this character in Ted Lasso to the character he plays
has
in
reached out
Buffy.
to Apple TV to find out whether Anthony will appear in season 4, premiering August 5th.
See you soon. Can't wait.
Before Ted Lasso, and amid his decades of work on screen, Anthony got his start in America on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, playing another Rupert, Watcher Rupert Giles, opposite Sarah Michelle Gellar, who shared this throwback tribute on Instagram, adding, "I know I'm the lucky one because I knew you."
Do you two keep in touch?
Yep. She gives me weekly updates of pictures of her daughter. Buffy, hello. Buffy was a student of mine. Everybody would love to have somebody who was seemingly wise and all-knowing.
E.T. was on set with Anthony and the cast in the late 90s.
Oh, my chaperone. Apparently I don't get to wear a flower in my buttonhole. I think it's that thing of it's the fact that she never.
Wait, Nick's just won by 1 point. Oh my God. 1 point? Holy shit. Wow. Will's probably losing his mind. Yeah, he's not home. He's off at an event, but there's a good chance that we are in New York for the finals. Will is shaving his bush.
It's a really strong bond, which is it's nice to see. It's rare to get a show
Wemby
where you
fucks
can
up
see
in the
in
last second.
But it has a real human touch. It really feels like we're talking about people's lives. I'm not supposed to have a private life?
No, because you're very, very old and it's gross.
And the thing that's best about it is the fact that it's not any one age group. It spans from...
Yeah, I love the episode when he and Buffy's mom are put on a spell that makes them act younger, and then they
About
totally fall for
6.
each other.
through to a 55, 60, whatever. It's great. And you get all sorts of people coming up and saying, just, I love this show. You know, I really like the work. It's great stuff. And it's like, you know, that's refreshing. Buffy, you know I'll always be here when you need me. I did 5 years as a regular and then 2 years on top of that as a recurring, basically because I wanted to go back and be with my kids. When I started that, my kids were something like 6 and 4 or possibly even younger. By the time we'd finished, you know, they were still only kind of 12 and 10 or whatever. Now they're 20 and 22. They're both working actresses. They've both got gigs that are sort of, you know, that it's. I mean, I'm very, very proud. And Sarah, my partner, I mean, she's working, teaching, writing all over the world.
Anthony's death comes just months after Sarah's, which happened with very little warning, according to family. She was only 61.
Oh my God.
It's rare. Actually, we were all being put through the mill in one way or another. I mean, emotionally and physically. I'm very, very fortunate to have been transplanted.
I did not realize that they
From there to
both
here.
passed. That is so sad. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, I wanted to share this story. So with the passing of Anthony Stewart Head, and it also being Pride Month, this is a lovely story. Anthony Stewart Head was truly a wonderful person. He will always be missed and always remembered for how kind he was. Stuart Head, who played Buffy's Watcher Giles in the Cult series, reportedly had reached out to a young fan after he came out as trans in 2015. He had heard that Jay Holm, a poet, was having a hard time after coming out. Holm was also kind of sad that all the photos he'd taken with the actor at fan conventions were signed to his dead name and showed him with long hair and no chest binder. Anthony and his wonderful wife, Sarah, reached out and invited me to come to their farm for the day. I'm aware that people are sharing the Giles was nice to a trans guy story again. And yes, many people who tagged me, it's me. Also, this is so funny. Giles, this character, was nice to a trans guy story. Back in January 2015, when I came out as trans, Anthony Head and his wonderful wife, Sarah, reached out and invited me to come to their farm for the day. They spent the day with me, took me to the fanciest restaurant I'd ever been to in my life, introduced me to their horses, took lovely photos, and printed and signed them, and even gave me tips for an essay that I was writing on Shakespeare for school. Most importantly, however, they gave me what I had been lacking in my life up until that point: affirmation, compassion, and belief in my abilities. After their meeting, Holm remained in touch with Stuart Head and his wife. The actor wrote the foreword for Holm's first self-published poetry book, who in turn paid his own tribute to the actor. The eagle-eyed nerds among you may have noticed that my middle name is Anthony, a reminder I gave to myself right at the beginning, a reminder to be for others what he and Sarah were to me. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. A light of hope. They laid very small foundation stones at a very important age, giving me the ability to grow and change and build the life I have now. One where I write and teach and speak and try to help everyone build a better future for the world. Holm had first shared his story in September 2019, but it has resurfaced in the wake of the backlash currently leveled at J.K. Rowling. And everyone said, boo, J.K. Rowling sucks. This is a reminder. Oh, look at how sweet that is. This is a reminder that you can be that person in someone else's life. You can be the one person who sees them for the beautiful human being that they are, who encourages them, who offers them the sense of connection to feel tethered to this life. And Anthony Stuart Head and his wife, Sarah, who have both passed, were those people for this young man who did not, it seems, have that support at home or in their life, and got that through somebody who they were a fan of. Like, that's just, it's, a lot of times it's like never meet your heroes because, right? Never meet your heroes because they'll end up disappointing you. But in this case, meeting Giles, aka Anthony Stuart Head, was what this young person needed to feel seen and loved. Jay recently posted on Blue Sky, I don't really talk about this because I'm actually quite private about my personal life, but many years ago, Tony Head took me under his wing and showed me the kind of person I could be. It's not an exaggeration to say that I am the person I am today because of the kindness that he showed me. I hope he rests in peace with his beloved Sarah, who died so recently, and that his daughters are being held and supported. We all have the ability to make the world a better place, each in our own way. I think it's fair to say that Anthony Head knew this, recognized it, and did far more than most to live up to the opportunities that his fame afforded him in order to put good into this world whenever and wherever he could. I have been on a long, long journey over the last decade and a bit, but someone had to set that ball rolling, and Tony gave me that nudge. I'm going to mute this thread now. As I said, I enjoy what privacy I have, and I don't really like talking about many aspects of my personal life. Ugh. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, in case you don't know, Anthony was also a very skilled musical theater artist. And he appeared in a production of Rocky Horror Show. I think it was at West End. Yeah, it was the West End revival of Rocky Horror Show, and his rendition of "Sweet Transvestite" was released as a single by Chrysalis Records, and then he reprised the role in the summer of '95 at London's Duke of York's Theatre. And then I think he had a couple more performances. We did see his singing in Buffy. We did. So we'll definitely take a look at that. Man, what a lovely story. If you ever think Anthony Head is anything less than an angel, you best remember that I've always been a huge fan of his, and we've always had a little contact over the years. And then he'd heard that I've come out as trans and was having a hard time. This is this is the same person, by the way. I came out as trans and was having a hard time, and that I was kind of sad that the photos I had from conventions with him were of me with long hair and no binder, and that they were all signed to Sarah. And so he invited me to spend the day with him at his farm, and he picked me up from the station. We just hung out and had lunch, and he insisted on paying, and we took loads of photos and had them printed on photo paper the same day so he could sign them to Jay, along with other photos of him as Giles and Uther. And he literally spent 5 hours chatting with me and got all of the pronoun stuff right every time. And then he dropped me off at the station, gave me a final massive hug, waved me through the ticket barrier, and insisted I message him when I got home so he knew I got back safe. I'm not crying. It's just raining on my face. That is really
Believe it or not, Janet is getting a little spooked out by the way things are going. She senses that something rather unhealthy is heading her way. She's right, for this is when the owner of this Gothic pile decides to put in an appearance. And here, to essay the role of the sweet transvestite from Transylvania, please welcome Mr. Anthony Head.
How do you do? I see you've met my faithful handyman.
Also, I am so fucking excited. We officially booked tickets. The gang is going to Rocky Horror in New York. We're bringing Big Hoss. We got Austin Show and Christian, myself, and Will Neff. Also, Austin was like, I don't think the seats are necessarily next to each other. He goes, I'm sitting next to Will. We were like, what about Christian? He's like, no, I'm sitting next to Will.
He's a little brought down because when you knock, thought you with a candy man. Don't get strung out by the way that I look. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm not much of a man by the light of day, but by night I want hell of a lover. I'm just a sweet transvestite. Oh, transsexual. Transylvania. Let me show you around, or maybe play you a song. You look like you're both pretty groovy. Or if you'd like something visual that's not too abysmal, we could take in an old Steve Reeves movie.
I'm glad we caught you at home. Could we use your phone? We're both in a bit of a
I can't help
hurry.
myself. I know.
We'll just say where we are and then get back to the car. We don't want to be any worry.
Oh, you got caught with a flat? Well, how about that? Well, babies, don't you panic. 'Cause by the light of the night, it'll all seem all right. I'll get you a satanic mechanic. I'm just a sweet transvestite. Transsexual. Transylvania. Why don't you stay for the night? Or maybe a bite. I could show you my favorite obsession. I've been making a man with more hair and a tan. for relieving my tension. I'm just a sweet transvestite. Transsexual. Transylvania. Hey, I'm just a sweet transvestite. Transsexual. Transylvania. So, come up to the line and see what's on the slab. I see you shiver with anticipation. But maybe the rain is really to blame. So I remove the cause, but not the symptom.
God, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh my God, he will look like Brad. Oh my God, Hassan is going to look like Brad. I have to incept Brad clothing onto him. I'd be like, here, put on these Ray-Bans. Oh look, I got you a brown jacket.
Put your hands on your hips.
He will have no idea and just be like, what? Okay, whatever, dude. James Marsters has paid a heartfelt tribute to Anthony Stewart Head via Instagram. There's a hole in the world. Anthony Head has passed on from us. He was an unflaggingly kind and steady presence on the set of Buffy and the best actor in the cast. He was the best of us. I was lucky to have known and learned from him. He left the world a better place for his presence. Thank you, Tony, for all you gave. You know what I was thinking about too is that Joss Whedon was such a nightmare on on the set, and maybe I'm fictionalizing things, but I have to imagine that Anthony Stewart Head's presence was almost like at least somewhat of a barrier to how terrible Joss was. And a lot of the female cast members in particular had awful experiences with him. And having someone like Anthony on set must have been at least somewhat of a lifeline. That, you know, he was a consummate professional, but also just, a good person. Somebody who could hopefully counter the nefariousness that was Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon and his gross vibes. Emma Caulfield also has paid a tribute. This was taken on the London Underground in 2011. I went to visit my friend Tony on the set of The Iron Lady. We had lunch, hit up a record store, had dinner and drinks, and laughed until our sides hurt. It was a perfect day. There were many of these moments with this amazing human who I was lucky enough to call my friend for 27 years. He was kind and wise and a guide in troubling times. You were so loved, impossible to caption. You are so missed. Rest in peace with your beautiful Sarah. He killed off Cordelia because she was, he was horrific to her because she was pregnant on set. Okay, I have this.
Miss Summers?
Good call.
I'm Mr. Giles.
This is what I was already crying at earlier today. And I was blaming it on my hormones and also being worried about the bird that I found that was injured.
Slayers. Watcher.
Watches?
Yes, no. He trains her. He prepares her.
Right.
We'll work it out together.
Makes me feel safe. Knowing you're always gonna be here.
Buffy, you know I'll always be here when you need me. Your safety is more important to me than anything.
And I can't do it. I can't do this without you.
I'm headed back to England.
I need your help. You can't leave me.
A good fan edit can fuck you up so bad.
You're...
Shout out to the fan editors.
Yes. But then I always thought so.
Read me the sign! Tell me my fortune! You're so useful sitting here with all your books! You're really a lot of help!
I suppose I am. If it's guilt you're looking for, Buffy, I'm not your man. All you will get from me is my support. And my respect.
Whose nightmare is this?
It's mine. Buffy! Hello, Buffy.
Your affection for your charge has rendered you incapable of clear and impartial judgment. You have a father's love for the child. That is useless to the cause.
That's one spunky little girl you've raised.
Bite me.
I'm gonna eat her.
How could you do this to me?
Fuck the Watchers Council.
Giles. Oh, I know this one. Slaying entails certain sacrifices, blah, blah, bitty, blah. I'm so stuffy, give me a stone. You could go, Giles, I love you.
And how did you know it was me?
Your eyes.
You have no respect for me or the job I perform.
Whenever Buffy would break Giles' heart was so sad.
I miss you.
What you did was necessary. What I've always admired.
Running away.
Being able to place your heart, love, and else. I'm so proud of you. You've come so far. You're everything. A watcher. Everything I could have hoped for.
The best. You just can't make Buffy these days. 22 episode seasons really makes you fall in love with these characters. Yeah, for sure. The musical episode where Giles thinks about how he has to leave Buffy's side so she can grow into herself is really hitting me right now. It's so good. Seriously, Rupert Giles was just one of the best representations of a male figure of authority, a, father figure, older male figure type. And it was basically him as the sole adult, and then a bunch of teenagers who have formed this group to try and save the world from its evils. And he was in the position of being mentor, being the only adult. He was also he was their teacher, but also having to have boundaries too. It was a bizarre thing where it's it's this normal high school, except it's not, because these abnormal things are happening. He was the best librarian. And so he embodied all of that. I like to think he was playing as himself in that series. Yeah. Head first appeared in the show's pilot as Rupert Giles, the titular character, Buffy's watcher and mentor. Giles also worked as the Sunnydale High School librarian and was a main cast member for the first of the 5 of the show's 7 seasons, appearing as a recurring character for the last 2 seasons. Throughout his time on Buffy, Head appeared on screen alongside Sarah Michelle Gellar, Nicholas Brendan, who also passed, Allison Hannigan, Charisma Carpenter, David Boreanaz, Seth Green, James Marsters, Mark Blucas, Emma Caulfield, Michelle Trachtenberg, who also passed, and more. Gellar paid tribute to Head, writing on Instagram, "Tell Giles I figured it out and I'm okay." Well, I don't have it figured out and I'm not okay, but I know I'm the lucky one because I knew you. Thank you to Daisy and Emily, who not only shared their dad with me, but with the world. Boreanaz, I cannot say that man's last name. Whatever, he's off with his crystals, who played Buffy's first love interest in the series, said, "R.I.P. He was so kind and generous of a soul." Then there's Marsters' post. Head died of complications due to pneumonia, confirmed by his daughters. He also appeared on Ted Lasso, where he played Rupert. Wow, that's funny. I didn't realize he played both characters named Rupert. I guess that's just a very British, it's just a very British name. The grumpy former owner of AFC Richmond, who cedes ownership of the club to his wife, Hannah Waddingham, during their divorce, and the Arthurian fantasy series Merlin, where he played King Uther Pendragon. MTK, thank you for the 2 months. What's up? We missed you too. KMRS, thank you for the 6 months. I was raised JW and I snuck to watch a lot of supernatural TV shows I wanted to watch, and I couldn't watch Buffy. The first series I watched was Buffy. When I was in college, it really helped me through my self-discovery. This is breaking me. We also talked about Buffy recently because Jane Schonbrun, who is an amazing filmmaker, one of the few trans filmmakers who's been able to make films, and Jane is a Buffy obsessive. So if you watched I Saw the TV Glow in film class here, you saw a lot of Buffy references because Buffy was very formative to Jane's upbringing as a confused child in the suburbs, like a lot of children are. A lot of confused, lonely children in the suburbs who turn to media, and it serves as a lifeline for them. And even in media that's not specifically and explicitly, say, trans or queer, that trans and queer kids found media like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it really spoke to them. I mean, Buffy was a show that spoke to a lot of young people who were experiencing just the very confusing things that is a result of being alive in this world. And it was a very special show. And fuck Joss Whedon, but still a very special show. Buffy is one of the few nice memories I have with my brothers. It's so sad, man. Yeah. Also in Rippo, the genetic opera, if you'd like to hear him singing. MTK, thank you for the 10 gifties. This one goes out to Anthony Stewart Head. Thank you. Anthony Stewart Head was a stalwart ally to the trans community. There's a fan. Yes, we covered that story, which is so lovely. And I'm just gonna say again, I'm two things here. One, media is often the first lifeline for a lot of trans and queer people who otherwise don't feel like they belong in the world that they are living in. And so it is an escape. It is a way to process feelings. It is a way to find representation and to feel seen and just to connect with something, you know? And as I've stated, Buffy was a really, really important show for many people, but including many trans and queer people growing up And the other thing I will say is Anthony Stewart Head as a person showed how it really takes nothing to show someone kindness, but for them it's everything, you know? And being that person in somebody's life, they remember that forever. And the impacts that we can have on people's lives, we may not understand it fully, but they do. People who we have really touched their lives in one way or another, and hopefully in a good way, because of course, you know, of course it can go the opposite direction as well. And I just think remembering that our interactions with one another, that it's not nothing. And it's why we really should always remember that there's the saying of like somebody might not necessarily remember the exact words that you said, but they remember how you made them feel. And I always try and keep that in mind in my day-to-day interactions, where I certainly don't want to make anybody's life worse. I don't want to be that person that just, they were already having a bad day and then they just had an even worse day. But also to be a potential lifeline for somebody who feels otherwise untethered. And the gift of allowing someone to feel seen is truly so it's so invaluable. It really is. MTK, thank you for another 10 gifted. I appreciate you. I also think so many people don't realize how many things that affirm our gender can mean to trans people, no matter how small. I still remember the very first stranger that called me sir. Right. And that stranger probably doesn't remember that interaction. Not saying, I'm sure at the end of his life, like Anthony had obviously remembered who this person was, but in those little interactions, that person moves on with their life, right? That's just a day-to-day regular type of interaction. But to you, that meant so much, right? Affirming who you are, feeling seen. And that's what I mean by to us, it may not be something that registers, but to the people that we interact with, whose paths we cross with, it can mean so much. Being kind to someone may mean nothing to you, but everything to that person. Yeah, absolutely. It just really reinforces the understanding that people want to feel seen in this world. They want to feel their existence is like matters, that who they are is affirmed and is accepted into this big, wide, beautiful world. And that there's a connection. There's a connection. And I think when you are a person who is going through transition and everything, must just feel it a lot. And especially for younger trans kids, it's already confusing when you're, in this world and you're learning about this world and you're growing up, and then you add in being trans, and that just takes that experience into another stratosphere. And so just the simple things, right? It really does not require, it doesn't require anything to offer a hand, to just offer, to be kind and say, hey, I see you and you're doing all right. You're going to be okay. and you don't have to you should not feel shame for who you are. Anyway, rest in peace. Rest in peace to Anthony Stewart Head. We will miss you so much. And thank you for everything that you've left behind. Coconut, thank you for the gifted. Chozo, thank you for the bits. Coconut, thank you for another gifted. Ah, boy. You know, it's funny because there are obviously like big cultural figures who pass, and I will talk about them. And of course, there's, pieces of their work that were important to me. But then there are ones like Anthony Stewart Head was not a global icon. One of those, like, if you know, you know, but his role as Giles was so important to me. And his career, what he did on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it was very important, and I will always hold it in my heart. Really mattered to the people that knew. Yeah. Wonder Gal, thank you for the 5 gifteds. It's truly iconic in that role. Yeah.